Hello everyone, I'm Trish Lynch from IOHR TV. Now here we are today in a rather windy Geneva in front of the beautiful Lake Geneva itself. Today we have taken NGO Focus on the road all the way from London to this beautiful city to meet with Albert Barseghyan. Now Albert is the Communications and Media Outreach Coordinator at the Fair Internship Initiative. Now they campaign for the reformation of UN intern programme to allow many young people from a variety of different backgrounds to undertake this incredible life experience. Let's now go to the studio and catch up with Albert. Albert, welcome to the show. It's really great to have you with us. Tell me why you decided to set up this initiative.
I wasn't myself an unpaid intern, and I lived in one of the most expensive cities in the world, such as Geneva. It is always in the top ranks of most expensive cities. And I know how tough it is to be an unpaid or underpaid intern in these kind of cities. That's why I joined Fair Internship Initiative. This started from 2015. And we are very proud that we kept continuity of the internship initiative, because imagine different interns are coming from different parts of the world, mostly unfortunately from Western Europe and North America, because many of African countries are not very well represented in the UN. But still, they are coming here, they are staying here from 3 to 6 months, and then they are leaving the city. So if you want to create an NGO or you want to create an initiative, it's very, very hard to keep that very continuity. So I think before 2015, there were some initiatives growing and dying at the same time. And we are one of the successful initiatives which started back in 2015, and we are still existing. So this is requiring a lot of work to do, to recruit new interns, to keep initiative working and advocating for interns' rights.
Tell me why so many young people are just so eager to take on this internship. Now, I read recently about a young man from New Zealand who ended up living in a tent on the shores of Lake Geneva because he simply couldn't afford to eat and pay the rent as well. Is this a common story that you hear?
After the financial crisis 2008, there is a growing trend of internships as a gateway to the labor market. So this is putting a lot of pressure of young people to take up internship experiences to show that they have work experience. So basically, this is almost impossible now with a master's degree or even with a PhD to get a job within UN organizations or within other organizations. So that's why the people are so eager to take up even these unpaid internships.
Do you believe that unpaid interns, especially as we've just said, at the UN is a discriminatory practice?
Of course, unpaid internships are a discriminatory practice. It was clear also from the Joint Inspection Unit report. Joint Inspection Unit, just to give you some idea, is the oversight body of the UN, which published 2 review reports on internship program. The last one was published 2018 June, and it is saying clearly that unpaid internships constitute exclusionary and discriminatory practices for the people with limited financial resources. Also, this is widening and exacerbating inequalities within countries and across countries. So just to give you some figures, almost 67% of all unpaid interns are coming from high-income countries. In proportion, I should say that high-income countries are making up only 17% of world population. So 67% interns are coming from that high-income countries, whereas the population in the world population ratio is only 17%. At the same time, 81% of all respondent interns said that they wouldn't afford an unpaid internship in Geneva, New York, or in any other duty stations if their family wouldn't support them financially.
So that cuts out a big demographic that simply wouldn't be able to afford to apply for an internship.
Exactly. By paying interns a decent allowance, we are doubling the possibility of accessibility to these internships.
87% is an incredible figure. Tell me about the scale and size of this problem.
I mean, this is an overwhelming problem for which we are fighting for. I mean, 87%, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, it was almost 100%. So some organization, because of the pressure that inter-organizations were making, inter-advocacy group like ours are making, started to pay their interns. But in other words, interns are not paid, and this is a real problem.
Yeah, but at least the figures are going down, even if it's only slightly.
We will see. We will see. Now we are working towards 2019 Global Internship Survey, and we will publish our data as a report by the end of this year. So we are hoping to have better figures this time, but I can't say anything in advance.
But it's interesting to see, in particular when we talk about the UN organisations, that it's not a deterrent to young people who want to be an intern. Even though they know there is zero pay, zero expenses, they are still queuing up to be an intern, aren't they?
Yes, but as I said already, this is a privilege thing. I mean, people with the access to financial resources, people coming from rather affluent families.
It makes no difference to them.
Exactly.
Can you tell us exactly how you engage with UN organisations to try and reform the UN intern programmes?
Well, we are working on 2 directions. One is with permanent missions based in New York, in Geneva, or in other duty stations. Another thing is working with HR persons of different UN agencies, funds, and specialized agencies. So now we are in exchange with high-level committee on management. During their last session in November, they decided to create an informal working group on the review of internship programs. They are going to meet in Bonn April 3rd and 4th to discuss the issue of internships. So we are very happy that recently formed FIA group in Bonn will participate. We'll try to participate to the negotiations. And also we are giving a lot of arguments, a lot of data, a lot of expertise to high-level committee of management, which is UN, across UN organization of HR persons, working towards a better condition for internship.
Tell me about the documentary that you've made to highlight this issue.
So our main research document is the Global Internship Survey 2015, 2016, and 2017. Because when we started our initiative, we couldn't find any comprehensible data on internship. So imagine, especially UNDP. UNDP is believed to employ 10,000 of interns across all duty stations, but it doesn't have any comprehensive database of its interns. When you are asking them how many interns do you have, they don't know. So interns are not even registered properly, and I mean there is no data on interns. So it was very hard, first of all, for us to know how many interns are in UN. For example, we found the data that in 1995 there were only 132 interns. In 2015, there were already 2,200 interns. There is a skyrocketing of intern population, which is actually replaced by P1 and P2 level, professional 1, professional 2 level position decrease, which is actually showing that economy is based on unpaid interns. But on the other side, we created this global internship survey to support our advocacy work. And this is our recent publication, and we are working towards a new publication, a Global Internship Report 2019, and we will publish it by the end of this year.
Now, you don't just highlight the gaps in the programme, but you also highlight the successes as well. For example, since 2018, the UN have now started to pay stipends to their interns, which is something at least. What can you tell me about this small success story?
Well, not all UN agencies, just some very limited number of UN specialist agencies, which actually were not under administrative instruction 2014, they managed to find some ways, some flexibilities to pay their interns. This was because of our very fruitful cooperation with HR persons within these organizations. For example, ILO and UNITAR started to increase their payment. as of 2017. UNHCR started to pay its interns, although we are fighting for higher stipends, but now they are paying 10% of DSA.
Which is still not enough to live on.
No, it's 900 francs, and you need 2,600 francs, which is a poverty line in Geneva, to decently live in this city. But still, this is a progress.
It's something.
Yes. And another success that we had, it was the WHO Assembly 2018, which adopted a resolution draft resolution brought by the member states on banning unpaid internships starting from 2020. And also the leadership of the Secretary General of the WHO, who actually walked into the room and said that we start giving health insurance to all interns, because it's super contradictory to work at WHO and not to be covered by health insurance, and to give food vouchers.
Oh, so it is definitely changing very, very slowly.
But yes, it is changing. And the most important thing, except the things that we are able to touch, like a stipend at ILO or a food voucher at WHO, it is the change of perception, or the very perception of unpaid internship. If back in 2015, I guess, you were asking high-level UN official about unpaid internship, they would say, this is okay. This has been like this all the time.
Why not?
Why not? There are so many applicants. They are just struggling to get food in the UN. That's fine. This looks very nice in their CV. They can get some credits for the work that they are doing. That's fine. Now, if you are talking to any of the UN officials, and we are talking to a lot of UN officials or to the member state representatives, they are saying, yeah, we are sorry, this is very, very, very exclusionary, very discriminatory practice, but we don't have money, or they are just bringing some other excuses, but they are actually supporting us, at least formally. So this is the most important change which happened, raising awareness, but also changing the mindset.
Albert Barseghyan, we thank you so much for sharing with us your incredible story, and of course helping many young people out there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us for another episode of NGO Focus. Don't forget, you can see many more episodes on our website. For myself, Trish Lynch, until next time, goodbye.